I think that because I haven't been doing videos at the frequency in which I still did them before personally, even though the channel's pumping out an average of 42 videos per week, I think a lot of you may have forgotten your boxing politics. For example, this video we're going to focus on Gennady Golovkin, 33-0 with what? Is it 30 knockouts or 31? I didn't forgot. But anyway, even though I cover every single Gennady Golovkin fight live, and now we're covering every single Gennady Golovkin fight live, which means you'll have me or one of my video reporters at an event, and we provide full coverage. So listen, in this short period of time, while I take my last sip of tea, just relax, hit subscribe, and visit RealCombatMedia.com, the home of T-Street Controversy Live. What I'm going to do is, we are going to talk about Golovkin versus Mayweather, Golovkin versus Ward, Golovkin versus Kovalev, Golovkin versus Lara, you know, and Golovkin versus Cotto, Golovkin versus Canelo, and we're just going to make sure we're all on the same page. So relax.
Truth dies. I don't know which, so never mind.
Okay. I like to get into a little zone before I do my videos. I listen to a little bit of tunes, and since I have no script, I just freestyle with the information that I've compiled via sources, and actually doing the same thing that you guys do, read articles. But the only difference now is T-Street Controversy is just not a guy doing videos. T-Street Controversy is a guy who has a link directly to the boxers camps, managers, promoters, etc. So listen. Let's get Lara out of the way. Lara, yes, he has fought at 160 pounds, meaning he's never weighed in a full 160, but he fought above the 154-pound division. Lara is the WBA World Champion at 154 pounds. Floyd Money Mayweather is the WBA Super World Champion at 154 pounds. I'm not going to explain the WBA situation because you should already know. Now, when you look at Lara, as far as his promoter, he has no promoter. He'll fight on a Warriors boxing card. He'll fight on a Lou DiBella card. But when it comes to who handles the career of Lara, it is Al Heyman. Thank you, Al Heyman. Gennady Golovkin, the WBA Super World Champion, WBC Interim Champion, and the IBO Champion at 160 pounds, is an HBO fighter. Lara is a PBC Premier Boxing Champions and or Showtime fighter because he's with Al Heyman. So therefore, for you guys to feed into the BS that a fight like that can happen right now is just sheer nonsense. Stop it. Cut it out. So you just waste your breath in these bullshit forums and these threads. Oh, GGG is ducking him and this and that and this and that. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about Lara because I know better. So therefore, let's move on to the WBC full champion, Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto just may. That's a small man. I'm gonna say maybe if Cotto beats Canelo, I say there's like a 20% chance that he'll fight Golovkin. Golovkin is just too big for him. Just like even when Cotto himself said at the end of the Daniel Gill fight when he asked Max Kellerman, am I a middleweight? And the guy weighed in under the 154-pound limit for a middleweight fight at 160. Now, I'm not making no excuses for him because if he has the championship, then he should be fighting middleweights and he shouldn't be draining nobody to no catch weight. That's just my own personal opinion. So, in my opinion, Cotto does not want in any way, shape, or form, he does not want to fight Golovkin. So in order for Cotto versus Canelo to happen, Golovkin had to be paid or has to be paid some type of step aside offer, and also a deal has to be in place for either Cotto, if he beats Canelo, to vacate the belt, or Canelo, if he beats Cotto, to fight Golovkin for the WBC title at 160 pounds. I mean, let's face it. Canelo could have been had a title shot at 154 pounds. He could have been had a title shot. But in my opinion, he's going to be fighting at 160 pounds. That's where he's going to be fighting at. You know, his last 3 fights have been in a catch weight of 155. I mean, come on, really? So, now we got Canelo versus Cotto out of the way. Let's talk about Andre Ward. Now, here's the thing. Gennady Golovkin, upon research, has never weighed in above 161 pounds or 162 pounds. His entire career, meaning I'm going to say like 95 to, 97% of his career, he has stayed at 160 pounds. So for him to be moving up to a catch weight of 164 pounds would be unknown territory for him. So for him to move up to 168 pounds to fight an Andre Ward would be completely unknown to him. Therefore, Andre Ward would have an advantage despite what they weigh in the ring. I just don't see why people are so, you know, they want to see him move up. And also, in my opinion, despite the fact that Andre Ward is undefeated, just like Gennady Golovkin, when it comes to financially, Gennady Golovkin is A-side. He's selling out arenas over in LA, and he's not even from here. Okay, yeah, he's not selling out, but he's damn near selling them out. So, a lot of the flack this guy gets, and don't get me wrong, he is good, and don't get me wrong, he's not a saint as far as we know there was some fights he could have had. But now when you hear that Golovkin versus David Lemieux is on the horizon for October of this year on HBO, how can we say that he's not fighting anyone when fighters don't want to fight him? Or, for example, his mandatory WBA world champion Danny Jacobs or Peter Quillen or whoever, those guys won't fight him. Why? Because of network or contractual obligations. So it's like, you know, like these arguments that boxing fans start are they're pointless, and that's why I don't feed into them, because I already know point blank I can say, oh yeah, well, Erislandy Lara could probably beat Golovkin. He could probably jab and left hand him to death and just, you know, ride his bike. But at the same time, why go that far when I know, oh, network-wise, it can't happen? So why get all caught up in that stuff? Now, as far as Golovkin versus Floyd Mayweather, listen. Floyd Mayweather has never weighed in at the full 154 pounds. I don't care if Golovkin says he can make 154. It's not fair. I understand we want to see Floyd fight the best. But if we see him fight the best at 147 and 154, and I know, listen, this is not a Mayweather versus Andre Berto video, so we're not getting into that argument. What I'm saying is, when it comes to Golovkin, Floyd has never fought at 160 pounds. If Cotto, who's a naturally bigger person and bigger person than Floyd, is you know, realizes that he's too small for Golovkin, then who are we to say Floyd should fight Golovkin? You know, now everybody's jumping on the bandwagon of Floyd should fight Golovkin, or, you know, he's not TBE, he's not the best. What? The man is like 170, like, what? He walks around like 175. He walks around like 175, and it's gonna be somebody like, no, GGG walk around at 190. You don't know what you're talking about. So I would say at most Golovkin walks around at 175. I would say he probably walks around like one, you know, and when it comes to 1 or 2 pounds in boxing, they matter. I would say he probably walks around anywhere between 171 to like 174, something like that. I don't even think he walks around at full light heavyweight. So when people talk about Golovkin should fight Floyd Mayweather, and, you know, I mean Floyd is scared because he won't move up 2 weight divisions when his last fight was against a guy who weighed in at 144. No. Yeah, he came in, wait. Pacquiao came in heavier, but what did Pacquiao weigh in? Like 144 or something like that when he fought Floyd? But it's like, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. So that's another situation where it's like, it's not even no point in talking about that. Also, Golovkin is over on HBO. I got some more videos to pump out. I'm T-Street Controversy with RealCombatMedia.com. I cover every single major fight live. Golovkin versus Lemieux is going to be a good fight, and you know why? Is because somebody's going to get beat the fuck up. Now, Golovkin being the better boxer, the better mover, the more technically sound boxer, David Lemieux has been defeated before twice. David Lemieux got beat up by Marco Antonio Rubio. Now, we know that David Lemieux was putting a whooping on Rubio until he gassed out. Now, what I want to ask you is this. We know that Golovkin takes some unnecessary shots to the face. Is he taking those shots because he's like, no, Mexican style? Like, is it because of the Mexican style? Or is it because he's defensively flawed in that area? I don't think so. What I do think is, hold on, my camera cut off. What I do think is Lemieux does have a chance as far as he's going to be a guy that's going to come right out there at Golovkin, and Golovkin's going to take some tough shots, and we're going to see Golovkin get his chin tested. But I'm going to wait to give a more detailed video where I'll just talk about Golovkin versus Lemieux. I just had to get this part out of the way because people are just, you know, I don't know, like, how do people feed into some of these different stories? Anyway, I am T Street Controversy with RealCombatMedia.com, and I cover every single major fight live.